I'm very concerned that a lot of us have a very wounded relationship with money, and it's to do with how we perceive it. And some basic spelling shows us how we have been misguided in understanding how money works. This is not one of your usual money is debt presentations, because I think that's one of the paths that leads nowhere. So money is a form of currency. Now, currency is about current. That's why in a bank you have a current account. It really is about electricity and charge, and that's why you get charges at the bank and you discharge your accounts and things like that, or loans get discharged. After bankruptcy, you are discharged. So it's very much about an electrical representation. But currency comes in four forms. One is labour. You always have this to fall back on, is your labour in exchange for things. Two is barter, where you exchange something you've got for something you don't. Third is credit, which we'll talk about in a moment. And fourth is money. These are all forms of currency. They are not replacements for each other. A lot of people have tried to suggest that barter is a replacement for money. It's not. They're just different forms of currency. The greatest dupe of spelling that has happened in relation to our currency, and the one that has most people confused, is that of credit, and also the most important one of all is that of change. Okay? Currency and the charge that is associated with it is about change. And these are all units of change. The spelling swap that's happened is our confusion when we go to a shop and we spend £15 on something and we give a £20 note, and we're told that our £5, or we think that when they hand us the money back, that the £5 is the change. It's not. That's just some more money. That's just your money back, the remaining money back. That is not your change. Your change is the thing that you bought for £15. Okay? Really not rocket science. The change in any of these instances is the difference in your world from what was there before. Okay? It's got nothing to do with the unit itself. That's pretty irrelevant. My concern is that so many people have a damaged relationship with this unit of change because of the morals and the ethics of the guy who prints it. Okay? So I'm concerned that a lot of you, because I've been through this, have a damaged relationship with money because of how you feel about the guy who prints it. Okay? Forget that. Because as long as you are tied up in that judgmental paradigm, you are starving yourself of the most freely reusable unit of change. Let's go through them. Labour is limited to your skills. So your skills are finite, as are Oliver's, and you will encounter people who are not interested in what you can do. So what do you do then if they have something that you want? You can fall back on barter and see if you have an object that they want that you can then go have an exchange for. If that doesn't work, really the only thing you've got to fall back on is money or credit. So hopefully you can see from that a lot of us, by our attitude of dismissing money as unimportant or as meaningless, what we're actually doing is we're limiting our capacity to bring about the change that we want in our lives. Okay? Now we're going to look a little bit more at money in a moment, but I want to talk about credit for a second, just so we can all be cleared up on this. The banks have stolen the concept of credit from us, just as they've stolen the unit of change. These are, most of the people you encounter in banks are innocent of this, so you can't blame them for it. But if you work in a bank, be aware you're complicit in the robbery of people's change in the way that banks conduct their business. And not just banks, most businesses as well. But anyway, credit is actually about the deeds that you are known for. So banks think that banks will give you a big bunch of money up front, or allegedly give you a bunch of money up front. They'll give you some digits on a screen up front, and you then pay that back over time, and that is called credit. And they give you this bundle of money, or how much it is, based on your so-called credit worthiness, which is about employment and such like. So actually, credit, as the banks do it, is based to your labour. It's not really an unreasonable system. The way it's being used is unreasonable. The system itself is not. But the real credit that we can still have between us without requiring the bank's currency is for the things that you've done. So you may have done things, and you might be part of a network or a group where you can phone somebody in a different town and say, I'm going to be over there next week. Any chance I can crash over and, could we share food? And if you do that, it's the equivalent of a credit card, because what you're doing then is you're, just as you would pay for a hotel and a meal, instead of that, you're not paying anything. You're using credit with the person because they admire or respect what you've done in the past. And that can go on indefinitely depending on how good your credit line is with the people you do deeds for. But certainly, it is still related to labour or deeds that you've done in the past. But this is just about understanding where you may have a credit line with other human beings that you've forgotten about, and just because the banks don't give you credit worthiness, it doesn't mean you're not credit worthy. So please don't be afraid to call upon your brothers and sisters for assistance if you have things they may be interested in, because you may have a credit line with them. But I want to talk about this money and change thing for a moment, because money is very interesting. It is a freely reusable token of change. So with any of these other systems, and I'm going to include let schemes and things like that, and amongst that, all you are doing is giving a limited offering. Okay? It's a limited offering. So my labour is limited to what I can offer. My barter is limited to what I have. And if we were talking about a let scheme, then it's limited to the number of participants who are accepting it. Money as we know it in the world is a freely reusable token that you can give to your brother or sister so that they can go and spend it anywhere to get whatever change it is that they want in their life. By abandoning the concept of money, we are actually limiting what change we can offer our friends. It's like, well, actually, all I can offer you is the things that I can do. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's about being aware that this is not a demon. Even if the guy that prints it is a demon, this isn't a demon in itself. It's simply a unit of charge that you can use to transform, i.e. change, the old world into the new world. If you are treating this with, I don't want to touch it, you're limiting your ability to transform, change your world into the one that you want. Now, I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.